Hello folks, welcome back to our channel, and today I'm going to be reviewing another episode of the television show called Medium. And today I'm going to be reviewing the 21st episode of the second season called Death Takes a Policy. Death Takes a Policy indeed. The episode was directed by Ed Sheeran and written by Diane A.D. Mew John, and the episode originally aired on May 8th, 2006 on NBC. On NBC. Wow. What's this episode about? Basically, in this episode, Allison is going to be confronted with someone who appears to be the Angel of Death. You heard me well. The Angel of Death, who's actually a character in the episode. And I don't want to spoil the episode or anything too much. I don't want to spoil too much. But basically, Allison is going to have some kind of a close encounter with death. And she's going to see him right there. So basically, she becomes getting scared and upset. At the beginning of the episode, she's having this dream in which she sees her own death. And basically, she's going to talk to it. She's going to talk about it to her husband, Joe. And the two of them are going to try to basically work through the situation. And at some point, Allison doesn't want to use her car anymore because she's convinced that if she does, she might get into some kind of a car crash or car accident. And she doesn't want that to happen because she's convinced that her time is almost up. And Joe's trying basically to reassure her by telling her that death could basically get you at any time, but you shouldn't live your life. You shouldn't live your whole life in fear. I believe that's a good message. But then Allison has other dreams in which she sees this Angel of Death character. This Angel of Death character, and basically it seems that he has some kind of a list, and she sees at some point, she's at some kind of a hospital in which she sees all these dying people, and basically the Angel of Death is telling her how long basically they have left to live. And yeah, that's pretty much forgive me. That's pretty much it for this episode, I'd say. And at some point there's going to be, yes, I didn't mention that, but they're going to be investigating Allison as well as the district attorney. The district attorney are going to be they're going to be investigating the death of someone who basically, it seems that he basically slipped and fell and cracked his skull open in the shower. And but Allison is convinced that there's more to it. And it seems that everything is taking her back to this character, the Angel of Death. And basically, as Allison is going to keep investigating the matter further, she's going to keep investigating the matter. Their paths are going to cross eventually, and she's going to learn about who this Bob Sherman is. Who this character is, and he happens to be someone called Bob Sherman, and he's involved in the whole death thing in a way. That's how she basically saw him as the Angel of Death in a way. But I don't want to spoil too much or anything. I don't even remember what he does for a living. Some kind of it has to do with life insurances, I believe. Some kind of life insurance. And the customers wouldn't have to pay would have to pay unless they die before ahead of time. All the money will be granted to this, I guess, attorney, kind of like a lawyer for insurances. Insurances. I'm not sure how this works. But then there's a nice message at the end of this episode. It's a little bit like, I don't want to spoil too much or anything, but it's a little like this whole saying, what goes around comes around. So that's basically it for this episode. What did I think about it? Wow, this episode was pretty great in my opinion, and very scary, especially since this whole episode was pretty much focused. It was pretty much focused all on death itself, and not to take anything for granted, and that you're gonna people, like we're all gonna die. People will die. People die every day, and so on. And anytime once your number is up, it's up, and basically Allison is, at some point at the beginning, she's going to ask her husband if they have a will. That's pretty funny. It's kind of out of nowhere. He didn't see that one coming. But then they're gonna keep talking about death. At some point, Joe is like, "Who died?" And she's like, because she has something to say to him, and she's like, "That's a terrible choice of words. That's a terrible choice of words." There was some humor in it, despite the whole kind of death theme in this episode. But yeah, this episode was pretty good in my opinion. So I'm gonna give it I'm gonna rate it kind of high. If I were to give this episode a rating, but maybe first I should go to the characters as I usually do. So we have the main ones, nothing much to say. But then we have Kelsey Grammer, who plays Bob Sherman. Kelsey Grammer was awesome in this episode, really scary, really like death itself, right? A reaper or whatever you call him. He was awesome. Then we have Leslie Boone as Sandra Bannister. Yeah, Raleigh Orismendi as the coroner. Then we have Michael Robert Brendan. Michael Robert Brendan as the other man. Miranda Carabillo as Marie, and Madison Carabillo as Marie. Forgive me, I'm still a little sick. Yeah, the two of them are twin sisters, and they both play Marie, who is the same character, who is Allison's younger daughter. But yeah, all these characters were awesome, but the one who stood up for me the most was definitely Kelsey Grammer, who plays Bob Sherman. Awesome character. Death itself, and the ending even was funny, in my opinion. I love the ending of this. I loved the ending of this episode. The ending of this episode was pretty awesome, very funny. Yet it shows that justice can be served. Justice can be served at any time. Justice always prevails, and that's the message of the episode. I guess that was awesome. So really awesome episode. I loved it. I really did. So if I were to give this episode a rating on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. It was very scary at some point, very creepy, very unsettling, very well made. So yeah, Edwin Sharon, who's the director, did an awesome job at getting death, at capturing this character of death itself, like the angel of death. That was scary. Interesting concept. Interesting concept indeed. Capturing the Angel of Death was a brilliant move. So if I were to give this episode a rating, as I mentioned, I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10 for this episode. Really scary from the very beginning up until the end with a good twist. So awesome episode. Really would recommend it. 8.5 out of 10 for this episode for me. What about you folks? What did you think about this episode? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comment section down below. I would really love to hear about your thoughts and views on this episode. In the meantime, folks, stay safe. Goodbye. Take care of this whole channel for you signing off.